The seals have been broken, and the devils are mostly here. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Stellar Age 0532, Second Apex Arbiter's Ascent. That's what I'm going with. Everyone will immediately notice we are missing someone today. Fox has some personal business to attend to. We sent her all of our love, but I talked it over with her, and we all discussed everything, and we are going to go forward with today's episode while she takes time to work on some stuff, and you know, life is as life is. So we will be moving forward and sending her all of our love in the process.
Also talking to Barbados as if they could hear us.
Yes, we do have a Gundam to stand in for Fox, and I don't think she'd be upset to hear that. So, before we get into every show, we do a couple of announcements. The obvious one I just took care of. The other, so tonight we're going to get into our next episode of Stellar Age right now. Tonight's episode 10, entitled A Past and Future Secret. Markings ended up becoming a massive shaft of light that beaconed into the sky that, for better or worse, was only masked by the explosions happening around them. And it revealed an entrance that was just big enough for the apexes to walk down single file. A square descending ramp. And that is where we left off last time. So, because we currently don't have a Fox with us today, I'm going to do a quick scene jump. During that time, Ragna gave the order. Ragna gave the order that they should, while investigating, they should start figuring out how to get off planet. Apexes don't make escape velocity on their own. They can move themselves through atmosphere fine. Escape velocity is something completely different. Usually you need a ship for. So, Calamity was put in charge of figuring that out. And as soon as the bombardment ended, she would go seek off-planet transport so that they could get back to the chain. Immediately after that, the crew in their apexes started walking down single file into the dark structure beneath their feet. And that is where we come back to our scene.
So how far down does it look like it goes?
If you fired a sensor probe, you might be able to find out easily.
Okay.
Just by judging and looking through passive scanners, you can't really tell.
Okay. I would like to fire up a sensor probe.
Okay. I would like you to make a... Changing systems is always weird. I have like 17 stored in my brain. Alright. Remembering which skills are in which specific system. So this is going to be perception sensors test.
Perception sensors.
Mm-hmm.
Sensors being the focus, or sensors being the stat to use?
The stat sensors.
Okay.
Your stat of your mech.
Got it.
Your Apex's sensor rating.
As we're like going down, are like operational lights going on, or is this place like super? Oh, you made a face.
Well, 14 I generated stun points.
Ooh. Nice. Was it a 6?
No, it was a 2.
Okay.
So if I succeed, I have stun points.
And you said it was a
14.
14. You do succeed.
Okay.
Which is the extra bit of information, since this is a simple additional useful piece of info. Cool.
What was that noise?
That was
Ben
a it was a
hosting
it was a host noise.
I was gonna say it was so pleasant.
Yeah. It's March-esque.
Like it.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, actually.
No, it's not.
I thought it was Star Wars.
No, it's the Imperial March.
Which Imperial March? That's the question. Oh, no. It's the Imperial March from Warhammer.
Yeah.
Which is very close to another Imperial March.
Eh.
Anyway.
I know I use keywords here. Very dangerous.
From a shoulder mount on Hunan, a small magazine pops up and fires off a round self-propelled drone that slowly begins to descend down the shaft. As it goes down, a three-dimensional mapping beginning to be created on your sensors.
Yes, maps.
Nerd.
As it travels down and down, you see that it follows this winding 4-point ramp going down, and it travels almost 3 kilometers straight down.
Didn't we say it was only about 1 kilometer high, the monolith from the outside? Okay.
Sensing
Yes, we did.
that opening song lyric just in my head a little bit.
Just a tad. Okay.
As once it reaches the bottom, it opens up drastically along the northern side. So basically, it travels down at like a 35-degree angle around the ramp, coiling around the 4 points, coming to an edge, going down another 35, down another 35, goes down like that. And you find that once it reaches the bottom, the ramp is on the south side. And to the north, it opens up into a massive, only 10-foot tall area. But there is a series of of like stations, almost large dais-like structures that all seem to be around 25 meters square, raised off the ground from the very bottom. And the probe sits and waits for commands.
So I can send it off into...
It maintains within a certain range.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it went 3 kilometers away from me, it probably can't go further.
So you're going to have to get down before you give it more of a command.
Okay.
Basically has to resync with the apex before it continues out.
It has commands to hold once it reaches bottom anyway. So, yeah, I'm going to come up on comms. We have a long way to walk. And it looks like the stairs are going to lead to a tunnel. It's only about 10 feet high.
Well, at least there's a bottom.
There's a bottom 3 kilometers down.
That's one hell of a hole.
Yeah, and is the entire stairwell made of adamantine?
It seems to be a composite material.
Okay.
Incorporating natural planetary native minerals with what looks almost like a Nemedian lacing. As you look through sensors, you can kind of see there's almost like a lattice structure of Nemedian material flowing through the minerals around you.
I don't mean to shit on your parade right here, but last time we found a facility after one of the same welcoming forays, the place nuked itself. Do we have any readings on the temperature and the security of as we're going lower?
Did anything pop up?
You're looking
On
for like
sensors?
atmospherics and stuff like that?
Yeah, like are there any spikes in temperature or similar? Because we saw that last building self-destruct when.
Basically, we don't want to get stuck 3 kilometers down when the building goes up on us.
Yeah.
Does it look like there's similar tech or?
That was because the quarantine broke. Yes.
Yeah, that was a that was an installed self-destruct.
Yeah.
It wasn't Nemedian tech.
No, but it was a place that it was meant to wipe what was there. I'm saying this is a very
built by somebody else.
Yeah.
None of that tech is here for that though. That's why I'm saying like you're looking for self-destruct sequences for something that was not touched by.
I imagine many types of people can program self-destruct. That's
nothing
all.
that you can see then.
Yeah. Fuck's sake.
Just
I don't know if
saying.
we realized she took a hell of a fucking beating last episode. She's cranky.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to trust your sensors because mine are basically. I'm just following your apex at
Why
this
aren't you
point.
repairing yours?
Because we're
We're
moving?
walking.
Yeah, you can
repair
walk
yours while you're
while
Oh,
walking.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
During battle, you could fucking repair.
Yeah, it just makes you a little more.
Basically, I did not give you the command to put those away after I commanded you to put out your drones, so those still better be working.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Originally they were on calamities.
The second you split, they rehoused, so they're back online to
Yeah.
be used
Once-
again. So
Once
you can
calamity was up and running.
Yeah, so you-
still.
you can start
Mm.
selecting which mech you want to have
Repaired?
your drones repairing.
Oh, okay.
I have a loss on my hull and a loss on my rifle. What are you at?
I have 2 losses to my hull and 1 loss to my rifle.
Okay, and how are you?
I don't have sensors. I don't have handling. And I'm 2 down on my hull.
Oh shit. we
Yeah,
gotta-
start repairing yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start with my sensors. I don't know how long they'll take in our.
You're
slow
going-
plodding
We're
walk.
walking 3 kilometers
3 kilometers, so
before we have a place to store.
you're going to
our
be
things.
able to make like 3 tests to start building those degrees of success. So basically, as make 3 repair tests.
Okay.
Each repair test, so long as you get over a,
It was 11?
I think
Yeah,
it's an
Target
11.
number's 11.
Yeah, target number 11.
Okay.
And the success threshold is 5 for every loss. So every time you get to 5, remove 1 loss,
Oh, right.
which is either 1 stat from one of your systems or
You're looking at the stunt die
return
once
1
you
hull.
succeed on the roll.
Right. Okay.
So you need to roll, make sure you get 11 at least.
Right. Okay.
As long as you
okay,
get
right.
up to 11, then you look at the stunt die,
Okay,
and
okay.
that's, yeah.
And that's in intelligence.
Engineering, I believe?
Yes. Intelligence tech.
Yes, which I now have.
Intelligence engineering or intelligence tech. Because he's using his drones to do
Tech,
it.
yeah.
He's using technology.
Alright. First one, that's definitely gonna succeed. Thing is a 4.
Keep track of the degrees of success.
Okay, I'll do this quietly as we descend.
I did bring the armor with me. Do you think we're gonna need it?
Seeing as how last time we dealt with anything Nemedian, we got attacked by things we don't understand, we might.
Just like hitting a
could.
compartment in Torment and grabbing some tube food while we're slowly are
Plotting.
lights coming on? Like,
No, it's only the external
ooh.
lamps
Ooh.
of your apex is the only thing that is
It's probably
lighting
like that
this.
gross dust
Does
shaking
the
from
top
above.
close behind us as we go down?
You haven't, but it hasn't closed.
Okay.
But the light was angling,
Yeah.
so it's getting a lot darker. And the only thing is that you do notice that there's dust in the air, and you can occasionally hear the rumble as the clay from the top starts to slowly shake and break loose and just crumble down the hole around you.
That's
But
wonderful.
I would like you to make perception tests. And this is Sometimes I want a general perception test that isn't based on a specific sense, but since it's pretty much any sense... No. This specifically is touching.
Okay.
So is it sensors over a mech?
Sensors or perception, whichever is lower, I believe,
Yes.
is what we use.
Sen-
Unless you're
sensors,
neuro...
sensors is basically your cap for what the sensors will give you. One.
Probably not gonna succeed, but if it does, it's points.
It's a 12.
18.
Eden doesn't really notice it, but Ragna and Gallo both notice that their seismic sensors aren't going off.
So it's
The impacts aren't reverberating down here.
Oh, it's oh.
Thought it'd be a lot more explosive with all the fighting going on up there.
Well, it seems like whatever metal this is what dampening the shocks. I don't feel it, but I know it should be happening.
How low are we now?
You're down to about 1 kilometer at this point. Please roll for another repair check.
Oh, he rolled all 3 already.
You already rolled all 3?
Yeah.
So the first, whatever you got for the first one, how many degrees of success?
It was a 4.
4 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're at that moment.
Okay.
The dust, the clay crumbling down, falling down the middle shaft.
Does it look like there's any other openings going down as we're walking?
No, it's a straight descent.
Well, it seems like this is what they probably had to come up in order to meet us at the top of this thing.
I mean,
If they were from here.
Hell of a fucking walk.
I mean, what
They
if
can just fly up the middle. There was enough room, right?
There's enough room for one apex to fly vertical.
So couldn't we then?
just slowly drop down?
Good.
You could. That would require some pilot checks. Also, it was unknown territory, so
we're
that's
taking
why
it
it was like,
easy.
let's walk down.
Yeah.
And
My
well,
sensors are still down there, like, keep basically just monitoring,
Yes.
checking for...
You're not getting any pings beyond geometry
Mhm.
within the facility.
No audio feedback either. Silent.
No, this is just topographical,
Okay.
essentially creating a 3-dimensional map.
well, at the very least, if we're not getting any readings from all the charges going on outside, that probably means they won't hear our apexes stomping on down. At least, so that's a bonus.
Well, it could still reverberate from within.
Yeah, I'm just.
We don't know what this metal is. We didn't have what it took to analyze it, besides the fact that it's an unknown. So, we don't know much aside from its Numidian.
That's a hell of a lot of it. Can I point out? This is a lot of it. This isn't just a small amount. Where the fuck are they getting so much of this?
I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea where this metal comes from.
Well, once we get something back from the arbiters, maybe they'll have an idea and they'll be able to help us out in terms of trying to figure out this part of the puzzle.
Well, we can only hope. That's why we've been keeping them involved.
Mm-hmm.
About 2 kilometers down now. You can scratch off the next.
There was 1, so that gets it up to 5
There you
So-
go. So one
sensors.
sensors returns as some of your external sensor readings beyond just a couple of cameras come back online within Fidchel. In time for you to start seeing the dust and the clay rocks tumbling down the central shaft, almost like a silico-like rain. A waterfall of clay and stone pouring down the center as explosions continue to rattle the exterior.
Well, I hope Calamity's okay with the search.
I will admit it's a little strange not having someone to yell at, so don't give me a reason to. Knowing Calamity, she probably would have rocketed down the center tube already and gotten us into trouble.
If it makes you feel any better, I can go down the center tube and get us in trouble.
Please don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Calamity knows if she can't get in contact with me to contact the chain and speak with Zep, so.
I hope they'll be okay. I don't need another face to haunt me at night.
Same. I'm going to, Can you send emojis over the chat thing?
Yes, it's canon,
Oh, yeah.
actually.
No, it's canon.
Yeah.
Emojis are a thing.
You get a random purple heart blip emoji on the corner of the chat thing, but then also I'm going to attempt sending a short message to the chain to see if we can still get signal from down here through this metal. Because that's one thing I would like to know.
You send out the message.
Mm.
But you know that it might take time to respond.
Okay.
So for now, you just send out the tight burst.
Yep.
Hope
I
for the
send it up
best.
to Zep to see
Okay.
if there's any response, if we can get anything through this. Well, we'll find out whether or not we're able to send messages through this metal or not.
Since our apexes are walking, like how long is it taking us to actually descend down the shaft?
It's taking time. It's still like think about how big your apex is. All right? On a scale, they're about the size of just under a 3-story building. Each apex when it's in its fully upright stance. It takes a good 5 or 6 steps before you make the next turn to descend further.
Okay.
And you gotta do that.
It's quite large. Yeah.
It's a long ramp before you make your next turn, and that's only at a 35-degree angle, going down 3 kilometers. So it's not about how fast your mech could run in a straight line. It's all that distance.
Quick machinist question, because I want to know how thick are these ramps we're walking on, or is this metal insanely strong? Now that we're going past it.
Make an intelligence engineering.
Oh, I don't have that, so I can't. Never mind.
can talk to me about it.
An engineer might notice.
I just want to know how strong the metal is.
Well, yeah,
Fucking talk
she
to
can
me about
notice,
it.
and then
I just said that in character.
Okay, I didn't know. It didn't seem in character.
As I turned to look at you when I said it, I was just like,
Okay, I was confirming. I was making sure I wasn't metaing.
You're
no.
Okay.
make make an engineering test.
Oh, I got that. Yeah.
If you have architecture, would be the
No.
would be the
No.
focus. Excuse me.
Yeah, 12. 19? Stump points?
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a success. Did you hit a 6 on the
No.
stump die?
Stop it. I have
I
5
have-
stunt points to use.
I have a
means-
list
is it
of
6?
things
No,
that
no.
I need to check to
No.
make sure
I
the
know.
churn goes up.
You
at
know
the
how much I
appropriate
like trouble.
times.
I'll tell you when I get my dig in it, but not yet. So,
Ooh-wee.
I would like an aha.
I know trouble's a pet name. Anyway, yes, you succeed. What would you like to use your stump points on?
No. Intuition seems. Intuition.
Intuition. Just one? You can go up to 3 points of intuition.
Yeah, fuck it. Put them all in there. Actually, wait. Can I use one to get a fortune back?
Yes.
Let
No,
me double
because-
check.
oh,
That's a
wait, no, it's a
general
combat,
combat
that's
stat.
right.
No, okay, continue then. Just put it all into my intuition.
It would be under general exploration stunts. Are the general exploration and investigation stunts are the two you would be using.
Intuition's fine. I was just curious if I was able. I'm still
Okay.
low on health, so I was.
How many stump points did you have?
5 total.
So you could go up to 3 without affecting the
Yeah,
churn.
3.
Okay, so it's going to be 3 little bits of information on top of
Yeah.
the thing.
10 ready.
This, you notice that you're not doing a collapsing spiral as you go down. It's maintaining a distance,
Nikita is very happy.
which means to achieve this, since it's not a descending style like switchback kind of a cut, it means that above your head is the last flight that you just walked down. It's pretty thin. You can tell that it's only maybe 10 feet thick. But it's 20 feet wide.
And this is made out of the Nemedian material?
Yes.
The composite.
The composite.
Whatever it is, it's very strong.
Or Fox says fuck you to physics.
Here's some intuition things you notice, though. While you're using your sensors to observe the structural makeup of this ramp, you notice that there seems to be some kind of segmenting in certain spots. Almost like there was like conveyor style structure to this. Now that you're beyond the clay encrusted exterior, you're now in the quote unquote meat of the structure.
Sorry.
You're noticing that most of the surfaces are where the Nemedian material is. The mineral deposits you see are really left for like bare walls that serve no purpose. So as you're walking along this, looking down at your feet, not really where apexes are designed to angle their vision, you notice that there's this it's like 85% Nemedian metal covering the surface.
Very.
And it has a near organic feel to it at times. It's not severely angled. It seems almost scale-like at times, the way it's organized and arranged. Still having geometric purpose, but the curves are very thought out. As I said, there was probably some kind of conveyor system that allowed for ascent and descent, from what you can tell, along the ramp.
Captain, have you seen any signs of like computer panels along the way?
Not that I've been specifically looking for, primarily topographical at this point, so we know what we're getting ourselves into.
I just think the walk could actually go a lot faster if we were able to make the certain elements. Look, it looks like it's meant to be a conveyor. It probably is, considering how sophisticated this is.
At this point, I would like to not turn anything on and alert people to where we are.
They're gonna hear the really loud fucking machines descending through the metal plates.
Yes, but they might also have some sort of alarm system hooked up to the conveyor.
I promise I will 100% trigger the alarms when we get to the bottom of wherever the bottom is when I touch something else.
That'll be really bad if it starts going up while we're trying to get down still.
Can you see through your mech yet?
A little bit.
How long do we want to keep on walking before we decide to go down the hole?
Well, there looks like there's a couple of places to put our mechs at the bottom, right? You said that there were sort of platforms.
Yeah, there seems it's disturbingly well appointed.
Which means that's where things probably were, where they came up to meet us. But it looks like there are a few places to actually put mechs at the bottom. Take advantage of what we got while we have it. I'd rather that than have to run up a kilometer worth of stairs myself later.
Oh yeah.
Especially in gravity.
And that's when you reach the final flight. And you can see the well spaced and arranged. There's like 20 of them arrayed out before the ceiling drops to that 10-foot height. You had thought there were 16 when you first looked down, but there are 20 because 4 of them are occupied. The sensor drone had marked them as pillars, structural supports. But as you get closer, you start to see that they are definitely not pillars. They look like statues. Extremely tall. About 26 feet tall. You know, flirting with that.
Third story.
Yeah, height. Humanoid in array. A head, 2 arms, 2 legs, hands, feet. That's where kind of the similarities end. What you notice will be decided upon if you can make some rolls. So
Better with my hands than my
I'm gonna
eyes.
need multiple tests actually. So first we'll see perception seeing.
Oh, I get to reroll these. Thankfully. Oh, so much better. Shit, the turn's gonna go up.
Yes!
Yeah.
20 for me, and I generated 6 stunt points.
Woohoo!
Got 11.
8.
Okay, so
I said I'm better with my hands.
Ragna sees this.
I'm going to use a aha and an intuition.
An aha and an intuition. Fantastic.
So the turn only goes up once. Because I'm paranoid.
Intuition.
Okay.
They all stand in the same position. They have... You'd want to say... It's almost as though... If you were to design it, you would be designing something that looks like a sleek, modern battle armor with some organic style flair to it. But it doesn't bear the exaggerated organic markings of a Kaitoan mech. Mostly because my Kaitoan mechs maintain the same retrograde legs that their pilots
They're suited for.
Yeah. This doesn't have that. The other part of it, and this is the intuition, they aren't statues at all because they're empty. As cockpit housings are opened on the chests. They've been open for a very long time. As you can see, dust settles on even the open cockpits.
Any idea if it's just been a few hours with the open ceiling hole, or... So it's been open a few hours.
Oh, no. Longer than that.
Okay. Because I thought the dust was falling. I was like,
This
does it look
isn't
like
dust.
it was that
This isn't the clay dust
Okay.
that has fallen. This is a dust layer that gathers after years and years and years and years and decades.
I know, you're gonna get a chance to.
I thought you meant your hair. I need to touch this.
It definitely you animate real hard with your hair just there. But now before you, it opens up, and like as I said, it is massive. There is space for 20 of these spaces, 4 of them currently on either end, 2 and 2. It's in 2 rows of 10. As the central shaft finishes, it opens up into a larger, almost, one might say, deployment area, where these standing little stations rest. They all seem to be just simple stone, where each one is.
Was that the aha as well as the intuition? And
I gave you
perception?
a lot on
Okay,
those
I wanted
things.
to make sure that I wasn't expecting anything else.
I'm not even going to call for the other tests, because using all that intuition and aha got you everything there.
Okay. Yeah, rolling 20.
You also up the churn, so I'm like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Well,
I'm not going to fight that.
Those have been here a very long time. They look like mechs. But longer than...
Their design is not... If they've been here a long time, the design wouldn't be that sophisticated.
It looks organic, but not as organic or digigrade as the Kaitoan mechs.
So your sensor thought they were statues. Are they, like, actually statues, or have they just been
if you
there
look
for
over there,
so
I just talked
long?
about the dust in the cockpit.
Yeah, I see that. So that means there's 16 missing. Right?
Technically.
Permission to have a board. Not this board that I'm currently in, but
Be careful what you touch. I would rather not fuck around too much. Get as much information from them as possible. Make sure there's...
depending on how old their systems are, I don't even know if I'll be able to interface with it. But if we don't look, we won't know.
Go for it.
I guess we'll...
Check out the docking station first, see if it'd be safe to put our mechs on him. And then we'll check out the others.
So I think we're going to be looking to house our actual mechs themselves before making our way to the remaining to investigate.
Give me 1 second, and I will have you repeat that to me quickly. I have to take care of it.
Oh yeah, you got a banhammer.
Yeah.
But I want to be famous!
I didn't want to draw direct attention to it, because I can take care of it without that.
Guilt was having birthday nap.
Yep.
Sleeping on the job.
We love you, Kill. We know love you and mini
He's
kills.
asleep, he can't hear you, Kevin.
I know, but if he watches back, if anybody tells him, it's like, oh wow, they were shit talking Kill while he was sleeping. Wow, what jerks.
I mean, if he was awake, it wouldn't be shit. Well, it's still shit talking even if he is awake.
There we go.
Oh,
That
wide
should be
awake.
at least it's at least blocked. I don't know how to remove the message off the top of my head, but anyway.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we want
I can
to
delete the message.
find places to... Thank you.
I'm a mod.
Ah,
I couldn't get it to do it on.
Yeah, because you're on
I'm on the
Streamlabs.
Streamlabs right
Yep. Yeah, so we want to put the mechs, our mechs, in a place out of the way, and then make our way. Specifically, Eden wants to climb up into the dusty-ass cockpit.
Well, we want to check the places to make sure it's safe to put our mechs there on the stations, right? Or are we putting it to the side, away from these things?
There's a little
danger-
space that you could
Yeah.
just get out of them without having
Okay.
to put your mechs onto the stations.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what danger we're worried about because we know the structural integrity is
Structural integrity I wasn't worried about. I was worried about whether or not something was going to try to hook up to our mechs while we put it on there.
Listen,
so...
I understand after the time you had with the tube down your throat and everything, you're really uncomfortable with invasive technologies, but you're gonna have to fucking get over that. Not everything wants to go down your throat, Captain. Or interface
not.
with your skin.
I really should hope not.
Spread its pheromones on you.
Stop! Please stop.
She like winks over comms and then just turns it off.
So are you where are you parking your where are you parking your Apex?
Assuming is there any kind of like rail system to get up to it, or if there isn't, then she'll just put Torment parallel to the one she's gonna climb across onto.
You're gonna have to do that because
Yeah.
there doesn't seem to be any.
That's fine. Yeah. So she'll kind of put Torment's like opalescent little beautiful self, now dusty and probably a little scratched up.
You can
right
paint that
in front.
later. No, buffs out, right?
Fucking buff some shit out. And opening up the cockpit, starts kind of like looking where she can kind of cross over, grabbing a flashlight.
Galloway's gonna park by you off to the side.
Well, I figured we're all keeping our mechs similar, closest to each other, so that.
Without specifically standing on one of the stations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. As Eden starts to cross from the little gangway that you can open up off of your
That coffin shape.
Apexes, yeah, that can drop down. Normally it's used for maintenance to get access to the whole cockpit. You usually don't use that to get out of the mech. But in a situation where you want to have the ability to walk out, you can use it for that. Walking out to the edge, you're able to kind of see just beyond the rim of the open cockpit. And I'm going to need perception seeing.
I'm making sure my braces is on proper.
Shine a light where I'm going, but 9.
Looks empty and clear.
Alright, so as she's monkeying fucking across, she like puts the flashlight into her mouth as she's pulling in to look. It's getting closer.
It has a similar interior to its exterior. Like, it doesn't seem to have anything specific that changes its. Like, when you look inside of a cockpit of an Apex, usually you see cushions. You see cushions, you see a seat, you see screens. It almost seems like the interior of this, it's organic style, smooth surface persists inside, and then there's a flat bottom, maybe halfway up on where a cockpit would be, like where you would sit, where the seat would be in the cockpit. About halfway up where the seat is just a flat, like, stop point.
Smoothing hands around and like pushing some of the dirt and the debris away from things.
From the surface.
Yeah.
You haven't said you're crawling into it yet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Trying to
Crawling in?
Crawl in and just start moving the dust around and be like,
You
can you
said
shine
it's
some
clear,
more light?
but-
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna-
well, as soon as
Yeah.
you get your feet in and over the top, that's when you see that this flat surface is not actually a solid surface. It's semi-liquid. It's like, it's a Newtonian solid.
Oh.
As you land on it, you make a impact, and there's a slight moment of jiggle as the now, for those of you who are not familiar with
Cornstarch and flour.
yeah,
Cornstarch and water.
when you hit it with kinetic force, it solidifies. By the way, non-Newtonian these are non-Newtonian fluids or non-Newtonian solids. I'm fairly sure. If you normally ketchup is technically one of them as well.
Really?
I'm fairly sure ketchup is on the list of non-Newtonian
Chat,
fluids.
I'm gonna need you to Google this for me because I need to know this about ketchup.
We're gonna do a science experiment where we just punch our ketchup.
No, we're gonna fill the bathtub with ketchup and reenact this moment for a photo. But it's just...
So the way it works is when you make impact with it,
Mhm.
it's almost like a Jello mold, and if you keep speed, you can run across it. The second you stop, it becomes a gooey fluid that you sink into. But if you resist and flail, it hardens around you. So the only way to really release yourself from it, it's an interesting experience. So as soon as you land, you're like, whoa, this is bouncy. I'm sinking.
Are you guys watching?
I am completely watching, and I'm going to try to shove my mech's hand over for you to grab, because I'm still in my mech and can't get there fast enough. So literally, this, like, 3-fingered hand is gonna come over you and just be like, you can grab onto it. Like,
Can I? But I don't know if my arms are in, right?
Well, she hopped into a
Yeah.
cockpit, so you getting your finger in there,
Yeah. I don't know if that's...
it's about the size of the orifice, so you could...
what about the barrel of my shotgun?
That's bigger than your hand.
Fucking hell. I wasn't sure, because I have, like,
Think about your...
in my hand.
Could you fit 2 fingers into the end of a 12 gauge?
No, actually.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's combat shotgun. Probably would be a 10 gauge.
I don't know, I haven't fired a 10
Close
gauge.
to.
Also depends on the size of the fingers.
Ian would probably know about the fluid, considering.
Would know about the fluid? How so?
Engineering? You think an engineer would know less than you know about,
Non-Newtonian.
yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the fluid.
Yeah.
No, this is a science thing. This really isn't an engineering thing. This isn't something that you use in structural...
I know, I'm just saying, I feel as though an engineer might know more than the passing knowledge of us as human beings.
Engineering would not help you in that situation. It would be science. So, you can make a science test.
Captain is Eden sinking?
I am trying to get out of my cockpit as soon as possible to get over there. There's literally, like...
16?
You're kind of aware of what this is, and it does have that little bit of the traditional quicksand effect.
Yeah.
The more you struggle, the harder it is to release yourself from it.
Okay, so trying to stay very still and looking around to see if anything is responding.
But
I'm
as
trying
you
to get-
don't move, you are still slowly...
Yeah.
I'm trying to get over there as fast as I can. Myself.
crawling out of your ape. Okay.
Yes.
So now Hunan is right next to Torment. But the cockpit's open, and now
It's a block party now.
running across, and Fidchel's in the back, like Tachikoma, arms waving. What's going on?
Like trying to see over
'Cause
everybody,
it's-
like
it's
slightly
literally-
bouncing.
Shorter,
Can't
yeah.
see.
You can't see anything
like-
over it. Both of them are just kind of crowded in front of you, and you're like the short friend trying to see the arcade
Oh.
cabinet.
It's me.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's me always.
it's
I'm
like-
never at no
Magfest.
places.
It's
Yeah.
the little brother at the arcade when the 2 older kids are playing, and you're trying to see who's winning, but you can't really get past a shoulder because they're both crammed over the fucking cabinet.
And Hunan is thick. It's
Yeah.
chunky.
Yeah, he chunky.
He chunky.
So, hey, just whatever's happening, just take it easy, Eden, okay?
Is anything responding is anything changing as she's in the
You're
fluid?
sinking.
Yeah, I know. She realizes she's fucking sinking. She's just looking around to see if anything within the cockpit is
No.
nothing. Okay.
No.
Okay.
You asked me what is
Yeah.
changing. You're sinking.
Yes.
That is what's happening.
Okay.
I'm not withholding extra information.
Yeah.
I would let you know.
We still have our void suits on, so
Yes.
Holding on to the frame, I'm gonna reach out my hand for you to grab.
can I get an arm out?
If I'm standing,
Your
at
not
the
arms
end-
aren't unless you jumped in like this, but you kind of landed, and I assumed
how
that you
high
did
up
the.
it would be?
I assumed you did the. Well, remember non-Newtonian, so you landed
Yeah.
on your feet, and you're like, haha.
Mm.
Oh, and then it slowly crept up the boots up to the knees.
Okay. Then,
So you're now you're up to your knees in it.
Okay, so I'll give a roll and try and
like
Okay.
hand
I will
out.
have a ooh. I'm gonna need from not Calamity. From Ragna, it's gonna be a might test
Oh no.
and
Might.
strength might.
Okay.
Oh.
And from Eden, it's gonna be a strength climbing test.
That's actually quite terrible for me.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, it's got fortune to spend.
Yeah.
yeah,
Feel
I'm
like it.
spending 6.
I have a plus.
I'm spending 6
Um,
because I have a +0.
I have a +3 to mine, but I rolled so terrible
Either way, I have some points.
that I could just put my void suit like the shield on so I could breathe if I was sick, right?
Just let it absorb you.
No.
Wow, mom.
But science.
But
No.
science, I'd like to know.
So what is your
Send a
what's
drone
your-
down. Now it's going to be a total of 14, and I have 4 stun points.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna collect
23.
that in 1
My
second.
total is 32.
I'm just doing current fortune. How fucked up were we?
All right, your climbing test was
8.
ow.
Yeah, I know. Considering my strength
That
normally,
is rough.
that is a real shit roll.
14.
14.
With 4 stun points.
4 stunt points, and you said you were sending another drone.
No,
No,
I was saying,
like, we could send a drone into it. You're not getting stuck down
Oh,
there.
okay.
Eden's like, I have my void suit on, just let me sink down.
Okay, you get a hand, but as you're pulling, so you're still holding. You got a hand onto each other. Your hands are being held. It's just the climbing is becoming difficult because of the footing that you're on right now. Every time you try and pull up and you try and pull a leg out, there is massive resistance because of the intense action and you're moving too suddenly
Yeah.
as you start to sink a little bit more. You're still holding on because you
Yeah.
can get like halfway into the cockpit. But as soon as you get up to about your waist, it stops. And it feels like your foot is on solid.
Just like wiggling her toes on the bottom. Let's go. I think we're good. I don't think it's.
We're not good.
No, this
You're
is.
stuck halfway in some weird, mysterious alien goo.
Make like you to make some perception sight tests. You can use touching if you want.
This doesn't change for me. I got nothing in perception.
You're
Okay.
not in the cockpit, so
Yeah.
unless you want to hop out and go investigate personally,
But you'd have to.
Yeah.
you could get over there. It's not impossible. It's just take you an extra round to climb from Fidchell across to Hunan or Torment and then down their ramps. But you could get there.
About a 10.
19.
Okay. Do you want to start moving over there so you can be there in person?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. It'll take like a couple of, like I said, it'll take you a little bit.
Yeah.
Essentially like 2 rounds of motion to get over there. But as Galloway is getting out of the out of Fidchell and moving his way across the mechs to get over. 19, you said. 10 isn't really.
Perception's not her strong suit.
Yeah. You notice there's a texture to it. To the stuff. I shouldn't call it the stuff. That means something else.
Yeah.
It's black. It is almost granular. It's semi-liquid, but it seems almost like if you it's like halfway between. Yeah, it's like squand.
I love squand. Sorry, that was a weird childhood thing. It's
Squand?
fine.
Oh, it was the 90s.
You didn't
like
have squand?
No,
So
I have
sorry.
kinetic sand upstairs,
Right.
but I don't have. I've never had squand.
I'm sorry.
a squand was an aquaphobic.
Oh, the aquaphobic sand.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was called squand. I had aquaphobic sand. And
Yeah.
I made some myself
You
with
could
silicone spray and
manipulate
sand.
it. You can manipulate it within water, but the second you pull it out of water, it just
It's dry.
becomes
Yeah.
dry. So it's like, but when it's in the water, it's
Yeah.
like that.
I used spray silicone and made my own.
Mm. So it's
I never had brand name shit.
it's got that weird. It's got that weird, almost fluid, but still looks granular, but it's black, almost like iron filings was used.
Like the
This is gonna be-
sand that we saw.
You're just
Maybe
gonna hear
that
me
could be a
say-
little reminiscent too, if you were to
This
to
is-
make that comparison.
I got up close and personal with that stuff, and I immediately pull out a tin, like a little bag of sorts or a container, even like a shell casing or something,
Yeah.
and I'm scooping some of it up
Okay.
for analysis later. But I'm just like, this looks like metal shavings. I don't want it.
I move my feet around to like explore the floor.
A little bit. A little bit.
Is anything like
You can feel that there's a central ridge. Almost like where you're, like, in line with where your butt would be if you were
Yeah.
sitting in a cockpit. There's a central ridge. You can feel that there's a smooth sloping back to the cockpit, and that there's indentations forward about the size of your feet.
I just can't think about where. So this is exactly where I would need to be sitting to man it. I feel like I'm in the right spot. Just like moving around a little bit. Like
Are you
But-
trying to sit in it?
I am sitting in it.
No, you're not sitting.
No.
No, you were just. You can feel a central ridge
Yeah.
with your foot. You weren't like, unless you want to sit down. It was just your feet that landed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I mean, if you were gonna, it's like sitting on the floor if you were to try and sit down. There's no like seat.
And
Okay,
then you're
the
gonna
slope
go above
doesn't-
your head in this stuff, and I prefer not to.
The slope, it's more like an egg shape
Or curved back?
with the
Okay.
the back wall of it is a gentle slope down into the bottom.
Like a bathtub.
Yeah.
Please don't equate this to a bathtub. This is disgusting.
Yahweh's not here yet.
I thought you
Um,
were.
At about this moment,
Yeah.
he's about arrived.
Hey.
Hey.
So I was thinking I could probably just put my void suit fully back on and see if sitting down I could find any other interaction because it feels like there's stuff down here.
You think you'll be able to breathe in this? With
Void
how
suit.
how yes, but it doesn't help with the pressure against your lungs under a quicksand.
Well, I mean, as long as your suit doesn't fill up with whatever this stuff is.
Yeah,
Void suits aren't.
They're carapace. They're not. They're more like the suits. The void suits, in my mind, a basic void suit is similar to the suit from Dead Space.
Never played.
It's
you're not
it's-
missing too much. It's cool concept.
No, it's got cool concept
It
to
does. Yeah.
it. It telegraphs a lot about what
Yeah.
its plot is, though. That's the downside, and it's not as scary as people make it sound.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more carapace, a little bit more rigid in spots. It's not like the
So it would offer some sort of protection against an outside
force coming
trying
in
to-
as
okay.
well as it is a pressure suit,
Okay.
both for 0 and higher. So it's
I just wanted to make sure if you were actually going to do
Yeah.
this, that it wouldn't contract like normal quicksand would.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
I understand what you're concerned.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
letting you know that the void suit would actually, the way the void suits are designed in my setting,
Okay.
they're more like
I wasn't
hazardous.
I wasn't sure
environment.
based on the armor rating if it would actually.
Yeah, they're more like HE suits, hazardous environment suits.
Okay.
Gordon Freeman's suit in Half-Life. Oh.
Oh, you heard him. Look, he just got punched.
See now, I feel like that would have been a me thing, but
Listen,
it's not
I
just
haven't
me.
played a lot of games. I
No,
haven't
it's
watched a lot of
just
anime.
things I know I have to introduce you to now.
Yeah.
I'm not upset or disappointed in you as a person or anything like that. I mean, my opinion of Kevin would be far lower if we went off of every time I mention something that he's never heard of, but I don't. That's not the way I
I have a lot of
roll.
practical
There's a-
experience,
there's-
not so much gaming or
There's a difference
watching
between-
things. I haven't seen a lot of movies, watched a lot of animes, played a lot of games. I have some.
You watched a lot of anime. Don't try and
Now-
hide your weebitude.
Now I have.
Okay.
There's a difference between
It's just I had a lot of more practical experience.
Yes.
Like I was more out.
there's a difference between not knowing what
Keeping
something
myself
is and
busy.
not having seen it, but still knowing what it is.
I didn't have access to this
It's
shit
all right.
until recently.
It's
It's
okay.
alright.
We still
It's
love
alright.
you.
Yeah.
It's not as drastic as like power armor, but it's
I
not
have
as
played Halo.
Okay, so not Master Chief's armor,
Okay.
but like your standard
Grunt.
grunt
So, yeah.
USMC armor. So it's got some of that
Parts,
it's got some structure to it to allow for structure. It's
Got
a
it.
hazardous environment suit.
So I used
They
to
just
go to
get
the
called
midnight-
void suits because you find them on ships all the time for when you're going out into space.
I used to go to the Halo midnight releases, okay? Like, me and my uncle were big in Halo and the competition, so...
That's
Alright.
wholesome.
Listen,
yeah.
we have a doctor on staff right here. If you need to drag me out and resuscitate me, great. But we need to figure out what the... I have to. I cannot have Calamity come back and find out that I missed an opportunity to find out what the fuck this is.
Calamity being disappointed in you may not be a bad thing sometimes, so...
Look,
Seals up void suit and
Ra-
starts sinking down.
Ragnar, I understand your
Continue talking.
I understand
Oh,
your
no.
reservations about letting Eden do this. I'm gonna make sure she's okay.
You better.
Mm-hmm.
This is on you.
Yeah.
Be
I mean,
careful.
I know.
I was thinking,
Yes.
I'm happy that it's not on me.
You're the one in it.
That's not necessarily what I meant, but sure. Just keep me updated on your vitals if you can.
Well, I mean,
You have the
you
ability to
actually
check
have access to them on your hand terminal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I remember one time I was like, "How are
Keep-
we all doing?" And then
Keep
it's
in
like,
mind that there's still stims in my system, so if they look a little fucking erratic, it's
You're in your
just-
void suits. You're
Yeah.
basically within Wi-Fi range of the systems that would provide that kind of information. When you're separated from a lot of the technology and you're kind of just in the field, you don't have perfect like
mhm.
Yeah.
locational and vitals
Okay.
kind of stuff. But right now you're close enough to your apexes, which give you that stuff that it's linked to that you can
Ye-
figure it out. So
All right.
aside from a slightly elevated heart rate from excitement, seems to be doing. Actually, let's take a self-discipline test, willpower self-discipline
Hey,
test.
you can't see me because it's black goo. You don't get a +1.
It's okay, I re-rolled them.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should have been the one in the goo. I got great self-discipline.
6. Would a 10 pass? Oh no, 11 pass.
Yeah, to stay calm, an 11 is all right.
Okay.
And nothing is actively doing anything to you. It's just
Okay.
submerging yourself in unknown fluids. That's
Yeah.
all.
It's
Yeah.
like me with
Um,
the perception thing. Get the reroll. Does this fail?
Yeah.
'Cause-
Oh,
So, sinking in.
oh wait, important question. That took how long did that take to go down the stairs that time? I'm keeping track of my stims.
Oh, that took about at least an hour.
Alright, so I probably have how long was the fight?
The fight itself took maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Alright, so I have like a half an hour at least left of my
Okay.
stim.
Okay.
You get down to about eye level
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and you stop. You're just kind of
Yeah. Just groping around trying to find anything.
not really. There's nothing really to grab onto.
Maybe it's because you're all in here. Step outside and close the door.
I have to use the bathroom quick.
No.
I don't. Well. Hmm.
The only response back you get is emoji, but it looks like that non-smoking sign just without the cigarette, so it's just a circle with the slash through it to your request. Just
Kind of like Gallo kind of like puts his hand on like your helmeted head, like, you okay there?
Yeah, I'd be a lot better if I could fucking figure out how to get this to do something.
I'm more concerned about getting you out of that now that you're completely submerged.
I mean, well, you took a little bit of it out, right?
I took some for samples.
Does it
Analysis.
What's the consistency once you take it out? I realized I asked a question you have to ask the storyteller. I'm sorry.
I was like,
That's
except the fact
interesting
that
to
he
know.
told me it was like
Black and granular.
black and granular. That's really it. That it acts more like a.
This building responded to Calamity's blade. Maybe it needs a charge, like a jump start.
I don't have anything that would shock it. The only person that has electrical stuff right now is completely submerged in fluid.
No. Oh,
So unless
yeah.
I pilot your mech and shove your whip in there with you, that's not gonna go well.
Torment is specifically designed for cockpit damage. I see the hesitation.
Yeah.
Also, shouldn't we like we saw from your scanner at the bottom? There's like,
We're at the bottom.
well, yeah, but I mean like there's like actual like people-sized tunnels for us to check
There's
out.
one to the north.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I do not want to split us up as much as we already have, or any more than what we already have already.
Well,
Like,
no, I mean, not, especially not with Eden.
that's why I said I'm
sitting
more
in
concerned
this.
with getting her out of this.
I still think if you step out, maybe we try and close the door, it'll...
Do you feel any buttons for closing the cockpit? Because you normally can't do that externally. It's opening the cockpit you can do externally.
I feel plates on the floor.
Can you try to like push them? Maybe
That's a
they're
question
like.
the storyteller would be able to answer.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
So we're trying to
like
avoid those.
levers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could possibly fiddle with these pedals on the floor, but I also don't want to do that if you're standing in the open. What if this thing suddenly moves and you guys get thrown out of it?
What if the thing starts self-destructing with you inside it?
Well, then it would be one person and not three. You've read my file. You know I have an inexplicable way to avoid death. It's fine.
Yes, but this is not something I want you to put yourself on the line for. I prefer you to stay alive.
I prefer to find something interesting out of this long shithole of a fucking day.
I mean, I feel like this counts as pretty fucking interesting.
Yeah, but it's right now all it is a dirty puddle. Until I can
I'm
actually...
literally watching your heart rate fluctuate, and
Yeah,
I'm just like,
Actually, hey Fitbit. Oh no, I'm doing good today. Delightful.
My robot's gonna start yelling at me in like 20 minutes. I'm just gonna have to yeet them somewhere else.
No, my robot likes me right now. We're good.
Why?
Because it censor's ending.
oh,
Can't read chat, but thank you.
what was the point of bringing your phone down on the charger?
Well, no, like the censor.
No, I know, but if you don't have chat up,
because
or the video,
because this thing apparently doesn't like doing its job right.
where's the one I gave you to borrow?
It's over there.
You've been leaving them down here. You have to recharge them.
No,
Yeah.
but
Otherwise, I'll
like
take it back.
full lights. It's like you would think it would be working. It says it's charging. It's just staying at where it is. I think it's the wire. I don't know if it's the battery itself.
So Eden's squinting through the visor and she's like, listen, I understand you don't want me to self-destruct in this, but for my own personal sense of self, let me make some choices now and again.
This is my crew, not yours.
This is very hard to have this conversation.
Yeah, and you're stuck there. You could barely move, and I'm sitting there with my brace on my fucking legs and lower back, literally squatting to get closer to you, and I'm just staring you dead in the eye, as concerned as I could be, watching you in this fluid, like waiting for something to start exploding. This is my crew, not yours. Not right now. I trust you to make decisions, but unfortunately, let me care about you. And make sure you stay alive.
Well, I'm fine right now. Nothing's happening.
I know, but it doesn't mean it won't start, so let me be a little concerned and scared. Based off the shit that we've gone through already, you can at least understand where I'm coming from with that.
Well, at least look around while you're up there.
Alright, fine.
So, currently trying to...
putty.
What?
Pharaoh putty. Look it up. It's a specific. It's like literally metal magnetic putty.
Okay, we're a little busy right now.
I know what you're talking about. I know it's exactly okay. Never mind. I've had some.
You know what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what it's like.
Okay. Ew. And that stays the same way even after.
Listen, I've been in a tub full of Neurogel. It'll be fine.
Even pulling out some of it stayed the same consistency as I was pulling it out, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'm stop bringing that, and I'm putting that away for later. We had a little Captain Fields moment where I got to yell at you for being a little self.
I heard.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
making sure.
I'm
I
trying
took
to
my
hit
phone with me to
the
keep track.
pedals on the floor, and you were looking
It's
around.
not pedals.
I know,
It's just indents.
Indents. Yeah, she's just smacking around on the indents to see if anything happens.
Is there anything I can see in the cockpit around the door? It's just smooth, organic metal.
You can't make heads or tails of it at all.
All right.
Well, it's kind of organic, Doctor. What do you think?
I would allow for a right now that he's looking at it,
Huh?
a intelligence technology test.
Oh, that's not good.
So that's a lot of one.
A 10?
Looks like a cockpit.
It's,
It's green.
In
red.
It's a
It's smooth.
dusty cockpit. But you know what? Eden does have a point, though. Like, if something were to happen, we probably wouldn't want to be in here when she's trying to pilot it or whatever she's trying to do.
I
in
also
it.
I don't want her to try piloting it right now. We have to find
Well-
out more about this building while Calamity finds
Okay.
us a way off the planet.
All right, then we get Eden out of the goo.
My question also was, Calamity's blade jumpstart opened up the place. Is there a way that, like, I could jumpstart this, possibly? Because of it responded to...
I need you to make a tech test then. Intelligence technology.
Okay.
Just asking me, is there a way for me to do it? Like,
There was a thought we were having the conversation before. I was research digesting it. I'm sorry. 5. 11?
nothing that you could reliably do, because we're talking about the charge blade works on a scale and uses a level of radiation that you don't have access to, and that's the only way that you know that this structure, anything on this, it's the only thing that reacted. So the idea that you could,
Okay, fine. You don't get to shock me with torment.
I didn't want to get into your cockpit. Thank you.
Alright.
I realized that the phrasing was a little strange. Not what I meant.
So
Anyway, I would try to get her out of it. I'm gonna be like, "Are you done looking around?" And I'm gonna hold my hand out to attempt to assist you to get out of it.
Galloway will start trying to make his way toward the other arm, so we have 2 people trying to help you out. If that's what Eden is accepting.
Seems like there's nothing I can do. I'm at a dead end
not that
anyway.
you can figure out right now.
We might find more information in this place on what to do with these. But we're not gonna know if you continue to sit there sulking in goo.
She is sulking in goo.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm just going to try and slowly,
Okay.
If you want
Since
me to
you
roll
have
persuasion.
you have been kind of making yourself acquainted with it so well over the past few minutes, you start to notice how it responds to motion and how it responds to sudden force. So between the 3 of you, slowly you extract Eden from this substance that leaves no residue. It holds to her form like a viscous fluid, as you would, like if you put your finger into honey, you pull your finger out, it kind of holds that, but it does pull away pretty quick and leaves behind no residue.
It's cool. I'm sorry. I'm making Nikita faces. now.
Okay, I was like, Captain.
This was not a captain face. This was a Nikita thinks this is really cool. Captain has no idea what the fuck's going on. So
I mean, if this would probably be a great way to shock absorb if you were actually piloting in this. If you think about it. And
Yeah.
considering this entire place hasn't been shaking at all, I'd be curious about how other ways you could deploy the technology.
I wouldn't be surprised if all this was made of the same metal. But I took a sample. We'll see when we can get back to the chain. Until then, let's try to find out some more information from the rest of this place. Well, we figure out what the hell is going on. Keep your eye out to make sure we're not going to trip any sensors, that kind of thing. I don't want to, I'm pretty sure they would know already, but to be safe.
I mean,
From what you can see, there's nothing here looks Malaysian. Nothing here looks Tuathan. Nothing here looks Kaitoan, other than maybe a little bit of a familiar, like a slight, like in the organicness of the design. But that's about it. The rest of it is this strange Median metal, dust, and a structure that you are not fully aware of.
so here's a fucking question.
And this
Goop.
ferro putty-like substance in the cockpits.
I want to take a magnet to it and just watch it go.
If Nemedian tech is supposed to be something, the Nemedians are so old, how is it that they're using technology from Malaysians? They haven't been a part of this galaxy till recently, right? And it's a combination of things that seem to be from across the span, right?
I don't know. It's either that or this technology came first. I don't know. Sorry. I literally dropped my pen and caught it like right as it was about to
I
stab
watched
my
you
leg.
throw it at yourself.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So the three of you stand now between the gangways of Torment and Hunan, and the cockpit opening of this statuesque looking vessel of ferro goo putty. The only light coming from your apex and your void suit lamps. You've got like forearm lamps and probably like shoulder lamps too.
Running a quick scan, would it be possible we would be able to go without using the helmet of our void suit, right? It is.
Checking atmospherics?
Yes.
Before you go removing your, retracting the helmet of the void suits, you check atmospherics, as is appropriate, and you realize that it's breathable air, but it's too cold. You wouldn't be able to breathe because the temperature of the air would freeze your lungs.
No, Eden's where I wish I were.
Just so happens, though, that you're not seeing any frost because there was no moisture down here to begin with. Just as you're about to be like, oh, it looks breathable, and then you see the temperature number.
Never mind, leave on
That's a
your
lot of. That's a lot. You're not supposed to see that many zeros with a negative.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't want to see that many zeros without the negative.
I don't want to see that many zeros in general. Keep
Your void suits
on.
your void suits are working to keep you at a normal temperature.
You said there was a room north?
There's a chamber, it's like 10 feet tall, like a hallway of sorts. Before we go, is it possible for me to, while within my apex, to send the drone there and then back just to see if it, like...
It's easy enough, yeah. It is a 50-foot wide, 10-foot hall. So very wide, almost stadium-like hallway. If you've ever been in in the inner workings of a stadium. If you've ever seen those you ever see how big the hallways are backstage at a wrestling, show? Whenever they do the backstage segments,
with you on the guy on the horse, like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's that scale, that large, wide scale of smooth stonework with that Nemedian lacing, that Nemedian metal lacing throughout. It goes maybe half a mile before branching left and right. The probe not having an appropriate was basically able to go out and come back.
Yep, that's fine. It's gonna dock back in Hunan while I basically set my own security system so no one's gonna touch inside my mech.
All right. So, yeah, like about 750 meters down the line.
Okay. I'm relaying that to all of your guys' hand terminals while I'm docking the sensor drone and getting out to move forward, taking my shotgun with me. Your power armor works with your void suit, right? Or you can put it on around it?
Yeah, or would I have to take off my void suit to put on the power armor?
I mean, if you're within the confines of Torment, does that have its own, like, I would assume it would have its own safe
Otherwise,
otherwise space
we
would
have
be
had
hard.
hell of a time in space.
Yeah.
So I suppose
Basically, we're down a person and I would prefer to be as protected as possible, so...
Give me a few minutes then. Just looks at you and then just starts to close the door and just awkward eye contact for a second and then just goes into...
Alright, so you leave Hunan, Fidchel, and Torment kind of in the same positions they were in, not placing them on any of those platforms, but just leaving them as is, riding your descenders, the descender cables out of the mechs to get down to the floor. What are you bringing with you? You basically have your loadout in your Apex with you.
If possible, a few the crack glow sticks.
Yeah, I imagine
Basically,
we probably have those.
To make sure that we can find our way back if we're continuously basically if it's like a maze down here, or there's a bunch of underground tunnel systems, or we don't know what we're gonna find.
Your hand terminals would be able to keep at least some kind of a breadcrumb mapping for you, so you wouldn't get completely and utterly lost without your hand terminals.
I was
but
gonna say, do we still have communication?
You haven't gotten a response yet.
Well, shit. He knows that if he didn't respond to me, it'd probably kill him, so...
I mean, do you know if the message was sent out?
No idea. No idea if it's just it hasn't reached them, or if they can't respond yet, so...
Once Eden's done swapping into the power armor, she's gonna come down with the assault rifle still, like, tucked in, and...
I have my shotgun. We all know where that went when I didn't bring it with me last time.
The world could surprise you. We might have a pleasant stay.
Jallow's got his regular sliver gun, stun baton, med kit.
Okay.
I think we still have a smoke grenade, too.
Those get, every time you go back, it refreshes.
Okay.
It refreshes back at Fountain.
Got the chalice.
Didn't I pick up like a flashbang grenade before?
Yeah, if you're bringing any kind of grenade, I said you either get smoke or IR smoke grenades, which basically are blinding grenades of smoke, or flashbang.
Okay.
Basically, they're crowd control grenades. Getting actual like damaging those kinds of grenades will take some income checking and stuff like that to get more demo style stuff.
I don't have a lot of income, so
we need some of that, like, daddy arbiter bucks. Alright.
Are you suiting up fully?
As per requested. Yeah. That's why she went back into Torment, so that we had the warmth in case we needed. You didn't answer if I needed to take the vac suit off.
No, it
get-
integrates. I've
Okay.
told you before, it integrates.
Yeah, I forgot. So that was my just in case. And she still changed while she was up there.
I'm taking my shotgun, the glow sticks, and my SMG and throwing axe normal loadout.
While Ragna and Galloway are waiting for just maybe a couple of extra, an extra minute or so, as Eden gets her power armor up and functioning. The three of you form together in a tight group before looking out at the massive tunnel before you. It is smooth, cavernous, and empty. There's almost a curve. There's no hard edges to the exterior of this tunnel. There's a flat surface for the floor, and the ceiling is rather flat, but the edges of the room don't form straight line corners.
Okay, so where the wall and the floor meet, it's almost
It's a smooth
Okay.
infinity wall like
okay.
bend. No sign of when you create if you were to do this with a drill, you would see tool marks of some kind, some kind of boring evidence. This is smooth. The only evidence of it being different materials that here and there is slight mineral variance in hardness, where maybe a few pieces fell away.
Almost like it was melted rather than.
From what you can guess, there are the occasional striation of the Nemedian metal making its way through in the lattice, but for the most part, it is a strange, smooth tunnel.
Okay.
And you've got about 750 meters of it to walk.
Yep. Keeping an eye out on the walls to make sure there's no inconsistencies, paneling, that sort of thing. I guess we should continue walking down the path. We'll decide when we get to the end which direction to go in.
I'll take point, if you don't mind.
I'll keep close behind so I can keep an eye on things.
You want me to not find my flashlight around all over?
Well, you need to be able to see. So
Well, yeah, I know.
unless we find something that will require us to turn off the light, keep your flashlight on.
Alright.
Moving down this hall, three abreast, the only sound that you can hear is the sound of your own breath within your suits and the echo of your boots bouncing off the surrounding cavernous hall. What little light your apex were adding to this area quickly is consumed by the vastness of the tunnel you're walking down. You reach the end, and it continues off in a simple T-junction. One heading right, one heading left. We'll call it east and west respectively, as though you're heading north just for orientation purposes. You'll soon find out that that pretty much everything points north. I always hated that in maps. You'll be pointing a different direction. I just have everything point north. Makes it easier for me to remember which is left and right.
That's normally how I draw it.
Yeah.
When we get to the T-junction, I'd like to take a look down each side to see if we could see anything down either side before we...
Yeah, I'll bring your light along. I'll shine light as we're going and looking.
The path is rather... Everything seems a little out of proportion. Everything seems to be built a little bit larger. And the hall itself is barren until it starts to curve back north. When you look to the east, when you look to the west, you can see that there's another T-junction there.
So the one to the right just curves?
The one to the
Towards
right
north.
just curves towards the north. The one to the left
T-junctions.
goes out to a T-junction, and it's about another 500 meters before you get to that spot.
Got it.
And it's at this T-junction where your lights kind of beam into this almost matte reflective. It's kind of like a satin finish. It's bouncing light, but it's diffusing it. As you can see the light bouncing off the surfaces of the tunnel. And there's the three of you, your torches bouncing off the surfaces. In the middle of this large, empty facility is where we're going to take our break for tonight. So,
Hey guys, you want to flip a coin?
we're at our midway point.
Yeah.
We're taking a quick 5-10 minute break, allowing players and myself to go grab refills. All right, let's get back into this.
Okay.
Back in the depths of this Nemerian structure. The only light being cast by their torches. Yeah, the English term torches. Flashlights. On their suits. Casting shafts of light, only moderately being reflected off the satin-like finish of this smooth infinity wall oval tunnels. They stand at the T-junction. To the right, it continues and then curves left. To the left, it continues to another T-junction where it turns left and right.
And nothing besides that looks any different. The walls still look the same in either direction.
Make perception seeing tests.
Hold on. Oh, much better.
13?
12.
16.
Okay. All of you notice that the wall in front of you, the curve seems to be a little less drastic, enough so that you could get pretty close to the wall itself. Not like you have to walk up an incline to get to the vertical part of the wall. This wide section, it's about as wide as the hallway you're exiting. You can see that there is a section that has some familiar runic carving on it.
Like glyphs.
Yes, like glyphs. They look familiar, almost like the ones you saw on those sarcophagi that you saw at the mining facility. The ones that were quickly consumed by the acid, and then the ones that were in that lab where you met Dr. Bragenholm.
If the walls open up and these things start coming out of the walls, we're running as fast as possible and getting out of this place.
So, once the glyphs have been pointed out, can we kind of go a little bit closer and see if we're assuming this place is a hallway, but maybe there's ways to open rooms as we go if there's any kind of glyph interaction here. We had a really hard time figuring out how to fully work with the sarcophagus before, but we've seen it now. Maybe we can figure out something.
I mean, with time, perhaps.
If anything, we should record it while we're here with our suits.
Well, yeah.
You do have suit cams.
Yeah.
As you're looking at it, as the
Getting a better look of it, yeah.
you take a moment to really make sure that you have a clear picture. You're not getting the jittery
Blair Witch
style capture. Freeze frame it. It's blurry though. No. You get a nice clear capture of it.
Which direction do we want to go? Left, right?
I mean, the curved path seems, I mean, personally, just slightly more interesting than another T-junction, just because, well, what's up with that? You know? Plus, the T-junction, the other one goes back the way we just came, so...
But only in one direction. You can go the opposite
Yeah, and there
direction.
wasn't another exit up top, so...
I don't know, I mean, we got two options. I'm just saying I think I like that one.
What about you?
The curved one curves back?
No, it curves north again, the direction we're currently going, so away from the exit.
Honestly, map skills aren't my strong suit. I'd prefer a straight line.
Alright, we're gonna go left. Towards the T-junction.
Okay. You continue to walk another 5 minutes down this tunnel. The sound of your breathing and the sound of the steps on this solid mineral and metal floor. The only sounds you can hear. The only light being shed from your flashlights. When you arrive at the edge of the tunnel, and mind you, this, like I said, this is like the tunnel height has gone from like 10 feet to about 20 feet now on either side. Plenty of room to move. And as you get to the new T-junction, you see that there is, to the left, about 100 meters down, the tunnel ends. Can't really tell much as the light just kind of reflects and bounces, but you know it kind of ends. To the right, it extends further north before coming to you think you can see a cross junction another 100 meters down to the right.
If we check out the room that looks like it's a dead end, we can at least
Eliminate whatever might be there.
Yeah. What's the point of a room, a hallway to nowhere?
Exactly. We'll go down the assumed dead end to the left. Going back south.
As you walk down that path, you start to get a clearer look at what ends this pathway. About halfway up, it's almost like a double. It's a circle and then an oval above it. The oval above that encompasses the circle, like so you have the entirety of the tunnel, and then there's a smaller circular.
Like within a shell.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you were to think of the tunnel as a large sideways oval, there is another circle within that oval.
Like
in
eyeball.
that negative space, you can see relief style art.
I want to ask what.
You can make an intelligence art test. It is not a restricted focus.
Oh, it's not okay.
Intelligence arts.
Oh.
Oh.
Does a 14 succeed?
Yes.
Move the turnip.
Okay, because I was
Yeah.
gonna ask.
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah,
mine's
we
even
both-
higher.
mhm.
Mine's 612.
I'm a 16 total.
6, 12, 13,
14 total.
17 total.
So it
14
only goes up
succeeds.
once if we all roll
Only goes
sixes
up
on her.
once.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
goes
Okay,
once,
because
yeah.
I also rolled a 6 on my
Oh
stunt
my
die.
god!
Oh,
Hail
wow.
Satan!
Oh, we got 7. I got 7 stump points
Same.
to spend.
Yep, so do I.
If we succeed.
What you see, it's abstract to a degree because it takes a lot of liberties with its negative space. It fills, think of like how a piece of Baroque engraving, it doesn't really leave any empty space. It fills everything with leaves and little branches and a fucking bird in this spot. And there's a flower. It's similar to that, but much more organic in an unconventional sense. nothing, no patterning or artistic style you've ever seen before. But on either side of the door, amongst all of that, where that negative space is filled in with strange organic line work, there is a form that holds an arm out and reaches towards the center with one hand over the chest, and they both look directly towards, from either side, looking towards the center where their hands touch, fingertip to fingertip, above the doorway.
The figures, they look...
humanoid.
Thanks. Okay.
Nothing that you recognize.
Okay.
Nothing
seems out of place. They're just humanoid.
I would allow a intelligence science with biology as a hyper focus beyond
If only
that.
I was Orla.
Specialty beyond the focus.
Restricted?
Yes.
Okay.
This isn't specifically medicine though. So
It's do you have
the
science?
turn?
I just have medicine.
You didn't take science.
No.
You should probably take science coming up.
I took
At
tech
your next
last
level.
time because of the.
Well, no, I'm just saying good ideas to have for the character.
I'd work down
As you level, that's how it
later.
goes.
Oh,
That's the
this is-
point of
Yeah,
leveling.
move that up. I got an 18
An 18.
with stump points. 7 of them, so I'll go intuition.
Intuition? How all 3 points of
Yeah.
intuition? Okay. They look similar in makeup to the statue like apexes.
Mhm.
Or the apex like statues. Which are they? Towards the front. But they don't have the same armored like external appearance. They have the predatory forward-facing eyes of an advanced humanoid. But from what you can tell, they have no oral orifice. It's slightly cantered at a 3/4, and you can see vertical nasal strips that extend beyond the eye and up into the forehead to a single point just above the eyes. So it's like they have a nasal mound, but it's mostly a central ridge that is almost triangular.
Shit, I need to chop this.
So it starts at two nostrils that form into one that go up towards the top and then have an opening towards the top. They have ridges along the sides of their heads that form up along. Even humans have the cranial ridges at the eyes. They have that, but it's very exaggerated, almost creating a disc-like shape across the top. Almost hermit crab-like to the top of the head. A crown with ridging along the eyebrows that extends all the way through that line around the back of their head. The neck is extremely detailed. Every line of the neck, every muscle seems to be exaggerated. The shoulder, like, it all matches biology that you recognize. But it all has extreme definition to it. And it's the hands and that head ridge that make you sort of recognize it. They do share minor points with Kaitoan physiology, externally speaking. But this nose thing that they have, the ridge extending completely, but the connected eyebrow ridges
Yeah.
continuing on.
The crustacean-esque elements are similar to Kaitoan, but this isn't exactly.
It's not even crustacean. It's not even a crustacean thing. It's just that was the shape that I was trying to kind of evoke.
Okay.
When you're thinking about it, like it's got that hard line going
swoop,
up.
Yeah.
It's got that swoop going out and then coming up, and then meeting at kind of a point in the back before coming back down. Kind of like how the Asari head kind of comes to a point here and then gets really nice in the back. It also has that ridged underside to the head that forms into the neck. It's got that. There's no biodiversity between either side. It looks like a mirrored image.
Yeah.
On either side. And it's the hands are almost a perfect, like you would have thought that they were Kaitoan hands. And they're only from the waist up.
Oh, so we can't see the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. Just like you, from the waist up.
And I was hoping for full frontal.
That would answer any questions about biodiversity, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thinking head shape, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was writing things. I was doing the statue drawings like halfway through the description, so I feel like I missed something.
Within the circle of the door looking portal, because there is a center line that comes down to the middle, then there's a final circle in the very center, and then a little bit further down there's
like
the line extends.
Del Toro door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hard.
There is a little bit of a curve to the top part and an opposite curve to the bottom.
Door porn. Oh, I love a good door.
Dorn.
Door.
Michael Dorn.
Why did this hurt me?
I am not a merry man. There's some really deep Star Trek cuts that just happened there out of nowhere. Just really deep Star Trek cuts.
Let's do it the other way. It'd just be called door porn.
You know, for a long time I used to think I was like a fantasy guy. And then how much sci-fi I've watched over the years just kind of hit me out of nowhere. And I was like, wow, I'm actually probably a sci-fi person now that I think about it. Fuck.
I definitely always thought of myself as
all those years LARPing in fantasy games, I deluded myself into thinking I was a fantasy guy only. So,
like, we're seeing this seam, and the seam goes to this indented circle. We're all fucking. I mean, they're essentially pointing at this. Does anyone have any idea of how we might open it? It isn't open. I'm having an O'Neill moment. Let me just put my face.
You're approaching the door and just kind of putting your hands all over it.
Yeah.
As you get closer, you notice that there are more of those.
I'm leveling my gun at the door.
I thought you said it, me. I was like, what?
Nope.
As I had mentioned, it's very staff and circular oriented glyph styles. And as you put your hand to it, as you're running your hand at one point, as your hand hits over one of them, it just kind of reverberates slightly with a faint, like, that pale greenish kind of glow to it.
Oh, okay. Hi. Okay. And that her hand was about to go away from me. Oh no. Okay. So pressing into it, does it respond in like a tactile sense?
I have my.
You don't get any haptic feedback. What? The idea of like when you're using your phone.
Yeah.
And you press something on the touchscreen and the phone goes like a little bit in your hand, that's haptic feedback. There is no haptic feedback. It just kind of lights up.
Okay. I'm getting something.
Faintly.
Is it like a lock where you have to hit multiple parts? The fuck are we looking at, guys?
Not exactly.
I
As
have
your hand
no
goes
idea.
over
My
more-
shotgun is leveled at the door past you.
You do pass over another one that lights up that similar faint, that pale green blue that you saw back in on the what the hell was the name of the Luna Maria. Back on Luna Maria. That same color that you saw on the sarcophagi there.
Okay.
And as your hand passes over,
Second.
there's one. It's like it almost looks like an hourglass in its shape, but with a staff going through the middle. That's the one hand that you touched. That was the first one that you touched that responded. And then there's another one that looks like a solar burst with 3 lines going straight down. As your hand passes over that one, those 2 light up, and you hear the rumbling of mineral against mineral as the circular piece starts to rotate away, and the door, using the 2 curves, just kind of blossoms open and folds away into the wall. The circle now open to a chamber beyond.
Right, you don't need to use your shotgun to shoot away at this like archaeological marvel of
I was making
a
sure
giant
there's nothing
head
behind the door.
What?
On the other side. The 2 images you saw, hands across, as you open up, it's almost like one of them is staring at you.
Eden almost instinctively goes to grab her rifle. Like,
What do I
It's a
roll
little
to see
bit of
if
an
I shoot it? Because I was leveling my gun to see. No.
Are you gonna pull the trigger?
Oh, I almost wanted to. If it moves, 100% it's getting shot.
It's a little bit of an optical illusion because it's, from what you can see, it's another. After a moment, it looks like it's like literally right on top of the door, and it is massive. Like your foot to its eye is the top of your head. Your foot, it's like where its chin is on the floor. The top of your head is where its eye starts.
You see Ragna completely tense, almost pulling the trigger on the shotgun. Is there anything else in this chamber besides a head?
let's get some more light
From
on
what
it.
you can see, as the light starts to kind of play inside the room and you get a little bit more depth perception to it, you realize that you are looking at a giant relief mural. And that there are... It looks like it has deep etched scar-like pores. As your eyes play over it more and more, you're seeing that it is actually many, many fresco-style murals, all etched in different ways to create a grand image that almost looks like a face covered with ritualistic scar marks.
A picture within
Going
a
across
picture
the head.
type thing. Where you use photos to create one bigger
Yeah.
photo. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Damn, that's beautiful.
Damn, they got style.
Art porn.
Oh. We should probably get in a little closer to get good feed of this. This is a lot.
This room, now that you walk in, from what you can see, is something close to maybe 30 meters tall. 60 feet. It's much taller than it is wide. As you step in, now who's going in? All 3 of you walking in a group, or is somebody going to stay at the door, or what's going on?
I mean, Eden went in. You guys. are masters of your own fate.
I don't want to just assume everybody's
Yeah.
just enforcing you
Yes.
through a doorway and
Yeah.
like I didn't say I was going. I didn't want to. I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
avoid
Yeah.
that vibe.
I mean, Galloway is probably gonna just start casually walking as if he's just entered the next room of like a art exhibit.
Oh, that weird that forgetting about personal danger science/archaeologist stare.
Oh yeah.
That like ooh and just like just walking into possible war zone like oh wow this is interesting.
Oh wow, this is nice. I'm staying at the doorway and using my shotgun and my light together to look around the room to see if it's safe before moving in.
Mhm.
So I'm still at the doorway.
As Eden and Galloway cross the threshold, your thermal readouts register warmer. And you can see along the walls there are semicircular, like off the wall, like if you cut a dome in half. Actually, no, I will say it this way. It's a dome, but only the top half of the dome is a little recessed, and it's of a strange... It looks almost like a pale stone that glows with that same green-blue kind of visual wavelength that you were looking at, that you've started to kind of associate with this Nemedian activation. And you start to see the room is those are slowly starting to get brighter and filling the room with light.
Well, I guess something's at least somewhat aware of our presence.
Looking around the room from the doorway with now there's more light, does it look like there's any other exit from here, or does it look like this is a shrine of sorts?
Make scene tests.
Not the worst. Alright, 16.
Anybody can make a scene test. I need this.
Oh,
I
move
need
the
everybody
turn.
to check to see what they're looking at.
19 and some points.
11.
If you don't succeed, you don't put up the charm. You have to succeed before you have the turn. Oh, you got
19?
6 too?
Yeah, I got a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you got 6 or not.
Yeah, no, mine, it wasn't for me. I was just moving because of what I
Yeah.
heard.
Up it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the trend has been upped.
Okay.
We are at 14.
You can see that there are lines etched in kind of a semicircular pattern that stretch away from the corner of the far wall, and they, in rows, they create lines along the floor, extending back all the way to the entrance with a break in the middle. Like the etches only come to maybe within 20 feet of the center line. And that is untouched by these lines.
Are the lines thermally warmer, like the stones? Are they like
No,
vent?
they're just etches. They're just lines
Okay.
cut into the floor. The things on the wall are the things that seem to
Okay.
be
I didn't know if it was
creating
like
a glow.
vent. Okay.
There doesn't seem to be any other doorway in this room. From what you can see, it goes up that 20 meters, about 60 feet. And it's about that wide and about that deep. You notice that this room is almost perfectly cubed. But it has that rounded infinity wall-like surface to the corners. So the actual corners themselves, if you're not looking correctly, like if you look at it, you can see. But if you're not looking, it almost creates this feeling that the geometry of the room is wrong.
Like a bloated cube.
It's very unsettling because the mind seeks shapes, and when the shapes are denied, the mind has trouble processing at times. So if you focus, it makes sense. But when you're not focusing, it passively almost looks like there's extra geometry, and it fucks with your head. It's almost dizzying. The mineral, it's I say mineral because it doesn't feel like stone. It's too. It's kind of like if geode could be simply and uniformly colored. You know how the center of a geode has all those fractures in it? But it's that material surface look to it. It's not exactly crystal. It's not exactly stone, but you definitely know it's not metal. And you can see that Nemedian metallic weave through everything on a little bit of a closer inspection. And this giant face looks down upon you with... It has no mouth, but it seems to have a solemn gaze. A emotion can be read in its eyes alone. But if you focus, you can see the images that make up the rest of its head.
The smaller images, do they have a theme, a motif?
That's gonna be some intelligence art, intelligence cryptography.
Like a specific role, or if we don't have it, then we can't.
Either of those. No, it's not specific.
Oh, shit. Would a 17 succeed?
Yes.
Up the turn.
Turn up.
Yeah.
I got a 13.
I got stun points.
And some stun points.
Use them. One aha, one intuition.
Okay. The smaller images make up smaller scenes detailing more of these beings that you recognize from the exterior. You see that they are... It's just a varied poses and moments between two of them, three of them, four of them, groups. You see some items held in hand, but mostly very simple, like circles, orbs, and
Fuck, it's the orb again.
And staves and cups and tablets, and nothing very obvious in terms of its concept. It's not like somebody sitting in a desk with a computer.
Yeah.
It's all very interpretive.
Rudimentary, yeah.
Here's your intuitions and your ahas. Your intuition is as you start to notice a flow. Well, your aha is you start to notice a flow. They're connected. And your intuition tells you that it all tells a connected story if you follow it in a specific flow. It seems like it starts off and finishes similar to grand mythologies of other cultures. The Branfod have kind of given way to this. They lost their texts. They lost their home. The Branfod have lost touch, in a way, with their older traditions, because the traditions of survival in the Forge Fleet took over. Milesians sort of have it, but it's very fragmented, and they've kind of created their own mythologies based off of the fragments from the Ark ships that survived when the Milesians arrived in the sector. Tuathans are probably the ones that have the most understanding of an old story. The issue is that the Tuathans that would have that opinion are ones that want to reconnect with the Empire. The one that they were disconnected from after their warp gate accident that left them stranded in the Gallia sector. What? So, as you look at it, it does seem like a primitive representation of some kind of alpha omega story of birth of a concept through an evolution of a people down through an ending at the very bottom. It starts at the top and it kind of snakes left and right, switchback style, back and forth. So you start at the top, you go to the left, and then you go all the way across to the right, and then all the way across to the left. You go back and forth, following this passage of figures finding what looks to be like there's a moment that kind of evokes the discovery of fire in its visual representation, and it travels. Who knew art history would come in handy? And travels through to what looks like the creation of a first kind of vessel of some kind. And there's one of them staring into the stars, and then there's it travels back and forth, and then it ends at the bottom with an inverse. So it started at the top with a positive relief of a circle, and at the bottom it ends with a negative relief of a circle. Sort of like a full moon to no moon.
Mm-hmm. What was the last thing before the end? The last, highlight, I guess.
It seems like at the end, there's gathering, and there is... It's reminiscent of funeral gatherings. And then there is a burial, but the hero figure that has traveled throughout all the engravings is the one that is inside said burial. And that's when it ends.
Did he... How'd he die?
That's a little bit beyond you figuring it out. It's very interpretive.
He just... But how'd he die?
I mean...
Are you getting all of this on camera?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be looking at the giant statue.
I didn't ask for sass.
Okay, I thought sass was usually allowed, but okay.
We're a little screwed if she's not gonna let us have sass.
Not when we're in a complete place of unknown. Could possibly kill us. Could have freaking zombie things down here. I don't want to...
You need a vacation.
Yeah, I do.
Can we get those?
We'll ask when we get back to the Agora station.
Do we want to check out other rooms?
Yeah, for sure.
I got as much of this on camera as I can.
We'll try to figure out what it all means later. Right now, I'd like to get through this to see if we can find out more about the mechs outside and why this was a area of interest and what is stopping those bombardments from hitting this place. So we're gonna, I guess, back out of the room.
Yeah.
Okay. Turning around and leaving the room. As soon as the last of you has left, the doors slide in their circular pattern back and close.
I don't suppose we could have just taken one of those mineral herbs with us as a beautiful eternal light source, she says, as exactly as the door closes.
We have glow sticks.
The height of our technology. We're gonna be
Flashlights.
fine.
Yeah.
We have a lot of unknowns as it is right now. Let's not bring something that might be irradiated onto our ship.
Oh, look, you're feeling positive already. You already think you're gonna get back to the ship. Captain, we're gonna be great. Walking down the hall.
They still haven't gotten back to me. So we might be completely out of communication down here.
Alright, well,
Which means that they probably think we're gonna die.
which that's not uncommon. But,
That's not uncommon.
so, which
Sparkling
way?
fountains of positivity around here.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Last time we were in an unknown, lots of things tried to kill us.
I don't know if you realize it, but this is our job, right?
Yeah,
So
gathering information. We'll keep going.
this is completely, we're fine. Nothing's trying to kill us. There is no fire. There are no bullets. There are no one even yelling at us in a high-toned voice, other than myself. Am I talking loud?
Everything is loud down here. Everything is echoing.
It's so fucking quiet. It's unnerving.
I know,
I mean,
but
it feels like a place that hasn't been touched, I mean, clearly, to anything since...
where did those mechs come from then? Why were they defending this place if there's nothing down here?
I wasn't saying I had an explanation. I'm just saying this is clearly a place that's been quiet and protected. I'm
So
just...
let's pilfer it.
Well, no, we're not doing that. That's not... We're just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
So let's go forward.
This
and
is another
pilfer.
culture's history. The less we can touch it and destroy it, the better.
I'm not saying destroy it.
As
it's
you've
just like-
already taken a sample, you were gonna shoot the giant art
You were going to
head.
shoot the art.
I was, because I didn't expect a face to be staring at me when we opened the door.
So which direction are you heading?
North.
North. Up the T-junction past...
Towards the
okay.
right junction, and I'm not sure if the hallway ends there going north, or if it's just a right hallway.
It's a cross junction, so it's a four-way split.
Oh, four-way split. Damn it, I...
No, more choices. This can't be solved with a coin.
As you travel up the northern branch of the hallway that you were staying within, you weren't making any turns. Another minute or so, you find yourself at that T-junction. To your left, you can see another doorway. This one not as extravagant as the last one. The similar in structure, that larger, consuming the whole tunnel wall with a smaller circle for a doorway in the center. To your left only goes maybe about 15 meters down before it's at a doorway. Forward extends even further down before bending to the right. And to the right, it's another maybe 15-20 meters before another door. The negative space above the circle for each of those doorways seems to be filled more with that glyph-like script above those doors.
So far, what it's looking like.
Okay.
How much one bet? Left, right, forward. I'd rather us all stick together and not just pick
Oh,
one and go.
yeah, maybe not run through this spooky graveyard by ourselves.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. I just don't give a fuck which door we go to. So,
Left it is.
count my vote as left.
Alright.
Alright, okay. I guess if it's 3 of us, 2, yep, that's how voting works. Yeah, left.
Sour grapes and all, the 3 of you move towards the west door from this location.
Yes. West.
West.
Honestly, we should just be clearing them as we go. I think that's the idea.
You notice that the glyph etchings on the central panel in the middle seem almost identical to the ones that you had before.
This has the hourglass with the staff again? Is
Mhm.
And the sunburst with the 3 vertical lines.
There's other glyphs as well, but those were the 2 that lit up for
That
you
responded,
before.
yeah.
But it's a similar layout to the previous door.
Same
Does it
with
have
the
the
torso
the
statues?
people?
No, I said that those
Okay.
the negative space above the doors is now just it seems to be more of the glyph script.
Okay.
we want to see if it just opens the same way?
Yeah, I figure that's gonna be our best bet. I'm gonna level the gun at it again.
Please don't shoot me.
I'm not gonna shoot you. I'm just gonna make sure nothing is moving.
Just I remember that time where you aimed and I thought you were gonna shoot me. And you were very close to shooting me. I'm going to the door and I'd really appreciate if you didn't fucking shoot me.
I'm not gonna shoot you.
Trying to hit the glyphs.
As you run your hand over those glyphs, the appropriate one on each side, they do light up lightly. That same blue-green glow. And the door rotates away in its 2 separate directions. Inside, you see I would say that you would see cradles to the left and right, but they're the full size of a person. An adult.
This is where you wake the ancients.
They all rise up to about mid-height, and there's about like waist height.
Thank you for finishing that sentence. They all rise up.
Oh. They all rise up to about waist height.
Everywhere we go, things try to kill us. I would not be surprised.
They have the same extra top to it, kind of the way a bassinet does. And there's 6, 3 on each side. The room can't be more than 10 meters deep.
Are there any other exits out of this room?
Not that you can see.
How do you
Make
think these are
perception
medical
scene.
Perception seeing. Oh, I'll let you know in a second. 10.
Does 15 pass?
19.
15 does pass.
Okay.
Turn
So-
up.
No, just normal
Damn.
points. You thirsty.
I did not roll a 6 on my something.
Yeah.
Balls.
Listen, we'll get ourselves in trouble. Just you wait.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eden sees, notices that there's like flat kind of, I don't want to say extrusion. Like a flat surface that kind of comes off at a 45-degree angle at the very foot and then curves back in to complete it. The material almost, it's seamless with the floor, and they're made of the same material.
Can't be comfy.
It might be. Because Ragna is able to see over the edge of one of them and sees that ferro putty-like substance that looks to be about a good maybe foot from what would be the bottom of the cradle.
Mm-hmm.
Filling the interior of each of them.
There's that. It looks like the same exact one that's in the quote unquote Apex style statues out in the front. I'm gonna call it the foyer. Front chamber.
Mm.
You know, the garage.
The garage. Yep.
Here, my garage.
The vestibule.
The vestibule, and all I can think of is the chamber I was in with the gooey substance to like pilot things.
The slug.
Yep.
The slug beds.
Broken
So I'm gonna
vision.
call it the slug bed.
Slug
There
bed.
you go.
Mm.
So,
Is there? If it's only like a foot deep, why don't we see what's in it?
Oh, all right.
I can't drown in a foot.
well, I
You'd
mean,
be surprised. At least just be careful.
if your body.
I would prefer not to go into another goo-filled bed of any sorts anytime
Well, I
soon.
wasn't gonna crawl in it. I was just gonna fish around.
All right.
What happened? What I thought we said we weren't gonna try to like
I do want to point out.
raid this tomb, sort of thing.
If I don't bring anything home, it's not raiding.
We have the goop already.
Well, that's on Ragna.
Yeah.
I have not stolen anything.
Goo raids her.
Yeah, it has been in my.
Unfortunately.
We are intimately.
Ragnar has a good reason to be paranoid
I
about
did-
goo.
I just haven't been applying. Like I know we're not playing Chronicles, but you guys seem to
Breaking
be using
point.
that spooked condition a lot.
Yeah, stupid horror movie decisions.
I'm gonna make a stupid horror movie decision. Goop.
Yeah.
Scoops with hand.
Listen, Calamity's not here, and therefore we have to still make sure we hit our daily quota of nonsense. I gotta
We're
do the
already in
duty
it
of
and
two
not
of
being
us.
eaten alive, so I took a sample.
I mean,
So you're gonna root around in it with your hand?
she was asking the doctor before, like, do you think these are like medical coffins? She's going
How
over to
big?
them.
Actually, make intelligence medicine tests.
Okay. 5. Ooh, nice. 10, 11.
Don't you get to
Don't you
reroll ones
reroll
on
ones?
medicines?
Oh yeah, that's right.
There you go.
So that's yeah, 10, 13. 20,
A 20.
and I got some
Stint beams.
stunt points.
Yeah, you do. You got 6 of them.
Yeah. Not
No!
all,
No! Put it away!
6 because of me.
I'll just do an aha and intuition.
Okay. Looking at it,
I love you.
they
you.
remind you
Kind
of
light.
a stasis, and a stasis pod that you've seen before for maintaining critically injured individuals and also for long distance travel. And emergency surgical pods for trips that don't bring a doctor, and the auto doc needs a surgical suite as well, just in case.
Oh, does this confirm my feeling?
So they actually do seem like medical. This room might be a medical facility of some kind.
I mean, based on the general shape of the pod, it seems very similar to, even though it's, clearly
Yes,
different.
everything
but
withstanding.
it seems like it's like would be similar to like a stasis pod, whether it's used for long distance travel or critical. Like if say if we on the ship we didn't have an auto dock, like if someone was really fucked up. But it seems similar to that, so...
So why would a facility this large assuming back whenever it was operational, not have its own doctor?
Well, I'm not saying that there isn't a doctor. I'm just saying that, like, that's what these things might have been used for.
Like a just in case the doctor gets injured?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I'm sure if I got injured or something, you guys would be pissing your pants and wanted to send me into something to make sure I'm all
looking
fixed
into
up.
I'm
it.
saying
Not
it's reminiscent of that. That's why you think it's medical. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it is those things.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can still stick your hand in it if you want to. I mean, how you feeling? I mean,
You're already.
your vitals seem still
Her
okay.
heart rate's a little high. She's not in perfect, like, you wouldn't call her perfect condition, calm, relaxed. AKA, she has fewer fortune points than her maximum.
Yes, I know.
I'm just pointing that out as that's your responsibility around these parts.
These parts.
But as far as, like, as you've seen her in the past, she's fully functional, so to speak. You looked at your medical, like, readouts, so that's why I was giving you what you saw.
Yeah.
So if you think these are like medical pods or something like that, normally you would have something that would keep track of vitals and stuff. Is there nothing along the walls maybe we could find that would have... God, I would kill for a fucking hand terminal right about now.
I don't know, do the sides of these, like, cradles, do there any, like, glyphs on them or anything?
I told you there was that flat surface towards the bottom. There's that flat surface towards the bottom that has the glyphs on it.
Yeah, Galloway will start trying to seeing if anything happens.
At a hospital bed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where they hang the charts on the foot of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
that rail.
Yeah.
Imagine if instead of it being a rail, it was like a 45-degree angle with a terminal of glyphs on it.
Like a little podium of sorts at the bottom of each one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Galloway's just gonna start seeing if any of these glyphs start glowing at all.
Okay.
Towards the one that we were closest to.
As you make a tech test. This will be intelligence technology.
18.
Okay. As he's kind of groping around for anything that responds, one of them does kind of faintly respond, and you notice that the surface becomes excited for a moment.
Like a turbulent...
Like you were putting a specific resonant pitch through it, and it was creating a waveform that remained static to the human eye.
I just imagined paint on speakers, like watching the videos of paint on speakers, like the
Yeah.
slightly like reverse drip effect.
Mm-hmm. The whole surface of the ferrofluid does that.
Does anything else in the room do anything?
Nope.
Galloway's gonna
Okay.
take his hand back away from that glyph.
Yeah.
It just it after a second settles back down.
Be careful of what you're doing, please.
I mean, I could just leave this alone now, considering.
Probably best.
Oh.
Look,
Until we find something that we could.
what, something that we can read?
That's clearly in Malaysian text. That's not gonna happen. We just gotta...
We need to find something that would be the reason for them wanting to come to recover or intervene at this location.
Yeah, I agree, but it looks like everything's going to be in this glyph format, so we might as well try and acquaint ourselves with as much of it as we can as we go through, because I don't think anything is going to be as clear-cut as we walk into a room and there's just like...
Unless we find any sort of presence of Malaysian tech or flat-out Kaitoan or Branfod, anything of that sort being in here other than what we see,
This is like our unknown element. If we could figure out more about this, we'll have a better idea of what they're using, whatever the fuck monstrosity they were putting together on Luna Marie. They're using... This is like an element that I don't know about, you don't know about, the Tuathans, like, we at least can understand it was Milesian Tech, Brandfod Engineering, it was it was, I have it here. Bitch. Thank you. Give me the lineup and imagine Eden says it with gusto, right? We could account for those things, but we cannot account for...
Tuathan Programming, Milesian Engineering, Kaitoan Puppet Drones on a closed network.
Yeah. And beforehand, like, we can kind of figure those things out if they were on their own, but we have this additional, like...
Numedian
metal. Like, not even just the metal, but the other things that we were dealing with, the glyphs, this additional technology, that's something we know nothing about. And they're using this. If we can figure out more about this, we'll be able to at least decipher what they're using currently.
Do we have access to any network aside from what we locally have on our hand terminals?
Not currently.
Yep, okay. That's what I thought. Because I was going to bring up the fact that we can't even look it up on any sort of network. Mm-hmm. The most we can do is document it currently and then move on and look it up when we can have access to it.
But sometimes you got to learn hands-on.
Okay, well, look, here's the thing. You're a very hands-on person, and you're a very, if it's gooey, I will shoot it kind of person.
Spiders too.
So
it's primarily, I don't trust the unknown because as of right now, this entire mission has tried to kill us no matter where we went. So
I mean, we're kind of, if we think about it, enveloped by the unknown already.
Also, I've been trying, a lot of things I know intimately have tried to kill me.
Okay, I mean, I wasn't going there, but what I'm trying to say is, if you want me to keep messing around with it, whether that ends up turning something on or not, if you're worried about it, I won't do it. But I'm just saying, if we're trying to find out stuff, we kind of have to interact with it to some degree.
I would like to get a lay of the land first before we start fucking with too much of what's here. So I'd like to get a general idea of what's in the area, and we find out what we want to look at more. Because
but if we don't know
if
what
we
it
do
is,
something here and it shuts down and the entire place starts going down, we're not going to see what's in the rest of the facility.
Sure, but if we don't know what this is, how are we going to know we wanted to come back to this? You just poke our head, look at a room, and then close the door and go?
No, we figured out a general idea of what it is.
Yeah. One of these rooms have to give way to something. What the hell are you doing in the darkness?
I'm looking for something.
So are we. I feel like you're mocking us.
Just randomly groping in the dark for a possible clue.
Definitely mocking us.
No, I was actually looking for something.
Can I help you with it? This
No,
is my domain.
No.
Okay.
It would... Spoilers. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So, Ragnar, do you want me to keep trying to figure this out? Or do you want me to... We'll leave it for later.
I would rather err on the side of caution, especially when we don't have the option of calling for backup or assistance.
I hear you. I'm not saying we need to sit here until we figure out how to operate the pods ourselves, but I'm not promising you. In fact, I'm promising you that I will continue to touch things as we go through here.
As long as you don't get yourself killed, you can touch things all you want. Just don't expect me to not warn you about it.
Don't ask me to make promises I can't keep. And she turns around and starts walking out of the room.
Everyone please make perception hearing tests.
10.
I do not get to redo these, so 12.
Oh, we're terrible.
Yeah.
We're biggie yelling at each other.
As you're walking, exiting out into the main hall, Ragnar hears off tempo from your steps.
I immediately pause and hold up my hand to get a better...
Get everybody to stop?
To get everyone to stop, in the most stereotypical militaristic fashion, and point to my ears. And
as everyone has stopped, the footsteps continue.
Can I tell what direction?
South of you.
From behind us? Right, best we can do is, I guess, get into the room and hide behind some of the chambers, right? Until we figure out what's following us.
Wait, we're being followed?
I pointed in the direction of the footsteps to point it out.
You heard the footsteps.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're in a big echoey tunnel, so I wasn't sure, like...
If the doors, and Eden like hushes her voice a little bit and is like, if the door's left open when all these doors are closed, would they not know that we're in here? That can we find a corner to tuck around instead?
We're technically in a corner now.
Okay. Then,
Yeah, there is a.
We're in a corner.
okay.
So we can just stay up against the southern wall of this corridor by this room and see if we can wait for whoever it is to pass by since they're coming from the south.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out the best course of action with what I knew from the general area.
Yeah, when it comes to map, like honestly, I know you're keeping it, and I'm terrible. I'm like,
We
keeping track
are
of that.
here.
Oh, it's like we're in a mall. Thank
yes.
you.
I am the "We are here" sticker that's on the malls.
But where's the food court?
So hugging the south wall of
Yeah.
the small
Western
western hallway,
Yeah.
the three of you hug up against the wall. You can hear the footsteps getting louder. Another perception hearing test, unless you want to try and peek around the corner.
Nah. Ah, shit, up the churn.
11.
18.
15.
I generated stun points.
Are we going to use them?
6 of them. Yeah. Use them. Give me an aha and an intuition. I'm not up in the churn anymore. It's on 16 now, currently.
It sounds like there's about 5 of them. 5 sets of boots. They're moving in a rather rhythmic, metered pace. And there's something that you hear that's kind of off. It sounds like radio chatter, but it's deep. And it's garbled. And it sounds like answers and calls. But it's too far away for you to tell exactly what is being said.
Are they getting transmission reception down here?
Between multiple.
Oh, okay, between them.
Yeah, your hand terminal will still work from on a pan kind of local area Wi-Fi. You're just not broadcasting or sending anything out. And you can tell they'll probably be at your intersection within the next minute.
Is this the part where we all stick our guns out? Or is this one of those have all our flashlights off and just hope they don't look in this corner thing?
We could turn our flashlights off and have our guns ready. If we let them pass, we might be able to get an idea of who they are without having to engage.
That might be the best option.
Alright, so try to be stealthy, but be prepared to shoot them if they see us.
So are you staying in this corner, or are you moving back towards the room?
What do you think?
No way to see through the door, right? So it's not like we
No.
could...
But there is technically cover within that room in the cradles themselves.
Yeah, but if they're only a minute away, they'd probably see or hear the door opening and closing.
The door stayed open.
We could leave the door open, we can retreat back if we need cover, but if we can...
See if we can find, like, at least leave the door open enough to be able to see out.
The door is either open or closed, and you guys, when you came back out, it didn't close behind you.
Yeah.
Not like the other one.
No.
Okay.
But it's dark over here if we were to turn off all our lights. You're not
Yeah.
going to see down the hall. So we could leave that door open if we need to retreat for cover, but if we just stay here so we can try and maybe see them when they pass to get an idea of who's down here.
You could see them as they come around, as they cross, if you went into the
They'll
room
have
and
their own
looked out.
lights. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah.
So we'll go take cover in the room behind and keep an eye out through the open door. So we'll take cover behind a couple of the
So the three of you
chambers.
move in, moving behind the cradles, all lined up in their rows. in this weird medical room.
Such a strange.
Keeping behind them, but still being able to see over them. You see the lights start dancing across, but they're only burst lights, and they're only coming up as infrared. Infrared scatter lights.
Uh-huh. Damn.
And that garbled radio contact coming back and forth, you're starting to realize it isn't radio contact, that's just what they sound like.
Does the cadence sound familiar? Oh.
And as they cross into the center of this cross hallway, you see 5 well-armed with pulse rifles. Full geared out. Armor and all. Matte black material. Only 2 slashes of red across their faces for where eyes are.
Sort of protectorate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving in tactical formation. This IR scatter light flowing in whatever direction they point. Group of very much PMC of some kind. You're not 100% sure. But I will request a intelligence current events test from everyone.
Okay.
So no.
Gallo gets a +2.
Yeah. I am only sort of smart.
Would security or tactics be
Yes.
applicable? Oh, okay.
Tactics?
Yes.
Okay.
Shit. Alright, then I actually have tactics. Thank you.
15.
17. With 5 stun
16?
points.
Yeah, I have stun points too. 16?
You all succeed.
Okay.
Okay.
Got 6 stun points.
Oh, I got 5. So, go for it.
Dump it all into intuition.
You could do an intuition and then... intuition is just 2.
Okay.
Aha
then,
is
yeah.
the one that goes 1, 2, 3.
Mm.
Because aha is extra information that
I'll
you
do
would find
5
out.
worth, yeah.
Like, imagine aha is like getting a free success on what would have been another roll, whereas intuition is finding something out that even if you had a whole bunch of time to...
Yeah, it's your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll use up to 5, so I guess I'll use both of them. So the 3 into the...
So up the churn.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to know.
Alright.
Dump it all. I need answers, my friends.
So how many are we going here?
I have 6 total.
6 total, and you're going 2 intuition, and then you can only go up to 3 aha.
Okay, so then 3 aha, 3... So then it would be only 5.
That would be 5.
Yeah.
Still ups the turn.
Still ups the churn.
Churn is if
You could spend it
4.
on for flashback too.
What? Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Reminds you of something important you forgot.
Oh, I hate that. Yes,
No.
do it. This is appropriate.
Emotional torment. I'm here for this.
Yeah. Ew, your bones. I heard them from here.
Flexing them guns.
These are highly trained. Active military assets. That's what standard success gets you.
Okay.
Aha number 1. They are kitted out for special forces. This is a singular operation. 2. They are kitted out for a reconnaissance and possible engagement. Reconnaissance with expectation of engagement. They have sidearms. Those are sliver pistols on their hips. Those are your ahas. Intuition. Well, no.
He's so happy.
Intuition. Those are Tuathan. Flashback. You dealt with these once before. Back when you were still in the Legion military. When there was a small engagement with Tuathan forces. Turned out it was classified as a friendly fire incident between friendly nations, because you weren't in active war at the time. You found that weird because almost an entire squad within your detachment was wiped out because of them. And it was because they just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The official report says that it was a misguided munition that went off. Kind of like a stray mortar round hitting the wrong position. You know it was a squad that came in and wiped them out. You know that squad left very quickly by dropping their externals and floating back as simple orbs back to the hands of a nearby operative. You know this is a Special Operations Echo Squad attached to a Dullahan operative. And that is where we are going to end tonight.
All right, one question. One question.
We are
Literally
ending
one.
a half hour early, but I didn't want to leave Fox out of this for too much.
No.
So
One question. Before or after before or after Eden opened her mouth? Pre-period?
Before.
Before. Okay.
we'll catch you guys next time. I have been Conry. With me has been
Cake.
Just Kevin.
Sandra Lee.
We'll see you soon, and until we see you again, remember to always stay evil. Good night, everybody.
The right hand motion.
You'll get there one day.